Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to another video on the channel where today we're going to be taking a look at some new and improved 4-3-2-1 custom tactics. So this is a really popular formation, so if you do want to see more formation vids for the rest of the year, make sure you drop a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button as well if you do find the content useful. If there's any other things you'd like to see, make sure you drop them in the comment section. If you do have any other questions, about anything to do with your team or your custom tactics, then let us know in the comment section as well. So the 4-3-2-1 is definitely been one of my favourite formations this year. I think it's a phenomenal attacking formation. It's a formation that I tend to use when I'm need to chase a game. So if I'm behind in a game and I need a goal, it's a very good attacking formation without being super gung-ho. So it's a great formation. These are the tactics that I ended up settling on, balanced on the defensive style, which we'll come back to. I'm actually going to start on the offense. We decided to go with fast build-up. Now I went with fast build-up. The way that we've got the team set up, the players that we've got, it just suits the style of play. Now obviously the players that you pick will dictate really the formation you play and should the style of play you play, but 4-3-2-1 really suits this formation. But fast build-up really suits this formation really well, given the fact that we don't have a cam, so anyone to link up between the centre midfielders and the strikers. Having the fast build-up kind of eliminates the need for that, and having that link-up play is important. So fast build-up really kind of works around that problem. Your players move up so quick that it doesn't really matter that there's quite a sizable distance between your striker and your midfielders. Fast build-up gets around that, and I found that worked really well with 8 width. Now this is quite a narrow formation, especially at the top end of the pitch. You know, obviously we have left and right forwards as opposed to left and right wingers, so you kind of want to utilise that, but you still need a little bit more width in your offence. You don't want everything to become too cluttered in the midfield, and I found 8 was a great balance for that. And then everything else is pretty much standard that we use on our tactics. I didn't want to use the pressure on heavy touch or possession loss because of the fast build-up. That already gives us kind of a negative in terms of we can get countered, because obviously everyone's going to move up the pitch at super high speeds, and it's going to give you that opportunity to possibly get countered. So I don't want to make it worse by using the defensive style on some sort of press, because then you're constantly going to be pressed and your players are going to get gassed, especially if you don't have real high-end team of the season cards like we fortunately have in our team. You know, if you don't have high stamina, your players are going to get gassed, and these tactics won't work with players that don't have good stamina. So moving towards the instructions, we had Allison, who is a fantastic goalkeeper. We had him on sweeper keeper. It worked extremely well. Sweeper keeper is really the only thing you need. I don't really like to change saving on the crosses. I did a little bit earlier in the year, but I didn't really find actually there was too much benefit to it. But sweeper keeper is an absolute must. The fullbacks and the centre backs, of course, we've got stay back while attacking. Now this is super important. You know, you want your fullbacks to stay back. You really want that kind of front 6 to do all your attacking. I never find the need to have my fullbacks going forwards. I think, you know, having especially players like Robertson and Da Costa, who do have good attacking qualities, but they've also then got very good defensive qualities, especially with Blanc Boateng in the back. You know, a real strong, solid back four, good foundation to work off. And I find that with this back four and having stay back while attacking, I often find that really I don't concede a lot of chances in games with these kind of tactics and the players that I've got, so it works really well. You don't need them to go forwards. You've got plenty of firepower at the top end of the pitch. We've then got the midfielder, who is the central of the 3 midfielders, which we've decided to go with Jordan Henderson because of the fact that he's going to play more of a defensive role. Now, we did say the front 6, and there are examples, as you can see, that where Henderson does get forward and score some really nice goals. This Jordan Henderson, by the way, is phenomenal. He's exceptionally good, but his best qualities is really as a box-to-box midfielder, but I think he's got great ability to play as a CDM. Now this guy, that sort of pivot midfielder, drop between defenders, which is something I was really high on at the start of the year. I thought it was an exceptional tactic, the drop between defenders. It works super well, and when you're attacking, your defence almost becomes a back 5. And then you can kind of just pull Henderson out and really attack and charge at your opponent when they're countering you, but you still got your back 4, so you know that's why we have stay back while attacking on the fullbacks. Obviously, to kind of layer on top of that, we want to stay on edge of the box and cover centre, of course, but you know, having this sort of holding midfielder in here is really key. Now the way I like to play, I have my most attacking, so we've obviously got Socrates and Brandt as our 2 outside midfielders, and normally we play with Crespo, but Crespo doesn't work obviously in a midfield role, so I've gone with Socrates. So your most attacking midfielder I had on get forward, get into the box for cross, because with Socrates, he's not really a box-to-box midfielder. He doesn't have the ability. You could argue Brandt doesn't either, but Brandt for me is not someone who's going to stay in my team long-term anyway. But Socrates is definitely an attacking midfielder. So your most attacking midfielder have him on get forward and get into the box. It's just another player getting into the box, you know, and a lot of people don't pick up those late runs that your midfielders make. So a lot of people like to have their midfielders sort of unbalanced. I like to have my most attacking midfielder on get forward. It's just something that's quite unusual, and I always find it's extremely effective. No one picks up those late runs from that midfielder. He always gets into great options, and he is kind of that extra link in the chain between the front three and the midfielders. Now, our other midfielder on the hand, which is Brandt, I've got on balanced attack. Also got him on get into the box. I want him to get forward. I want that box to be stacked full of players, so there's plenty of opportunity for us to score more goals. It is going to mean that counter-attacks are going to happen a little bit more. The only way you could get around that is maybe by playing a slightly lesser depth rather than playing on the 5 depth that we've got. Maybe try 4 or 3 if you want to get around the counter-attacks. But for me, I still find that even though I maybe concede counter-attacks, I don't necessarily concede goals, and that's down to you as a defender. Now, if you don't like the option of having one midfielder on get forward, you could just have them both on balance. Now, I wouldn't put them on stay back while attacking. I would have the 2 outside mids on balanced and get into the box, and the central midfield on drop between defenders if you want to use that instead. Now the 2 wingers, which in this case is Salah and Rashford. Now this Salah card is phenomenal. Rashford's been a little bit disappointing for those of you that want to kind of understand how the team's playing for me. Rashford, a little bit disappointing. Maybe I'm not playing him in the best role. I'm playing him as a left wing. He's playing good, but Salah is phenomenal. He's getting lots of goals. But the 2 wingers, we've got on balanced width and getting behind and aggressive interceptions. Now I want my front, all of the front 3, as you can see with Rashford as well. He's on aggressive interceptions too. I want the front 3 to be really hyper aggressive. I want to win the ball at the top end of the pitch. Because we don't obviously have a press, I want the front 3 to be aggressive, to try and win the ball back without obviously that press affecting the rest of the team. So the front 3 are on aggressive interceptions. They're going to try and win the ball back. And I've had some really good examples of the front 3 winning the ball back at the top end of the pitch and then goals coming off the back of that. Getting behind, of course, want to utilise that pace. Obviously, these guys have got 99 pace, so you obviously want them getting behind. And the other thing to note, I've got them on balance width. Now, I usually used to play them on stay central. The reason why I've gone to balance width, obviously we've got the 8th width now as well on the offence, is because I do think you need a little bit of width. You know, playing on stay central is great. It means link up players a lot better. So if you want your players to link up a lot better, have them on stay central. If you want a little bit more width in your team, they're still going to stay fairly central, as you can see that, you know, in plenty of examples. They're kind of going to spread along the box. So it's still going to be fairly narrow, but it's just going to be a little bit more width rather than all 3 of them kind of in within 10 yards. They're just going to have a little bit of width. It's going to make it a little bit easier for you to attack it and create more chances because not everybody's then going to be stood on each other's toes. And then Vardy, this guy, man, is absolutely phenomenal. If you want a striker, get this guy. His finishing is incredible. He's so good. We've played so many good games with him. He's got so many goals. He's a top-class striker. And with top-class strikers, we want them in the middle of the box, which is why we've got him on stay central. And, of course, getting behind, utilising that pace from Vardy. Stay central is going to gobble up all the chances in between the sticks. You give him the ball sort of in the box, it's a goal. His shot power is incredible, and that's where you want your striker to be. So that is it for the 4-3-2-1 custom tactics. This is a great formation. It's definitely something that it's not a formation that I necessarily start in anymore, because there are a few little things about it that just don't quite suit the way that I like to play. But if I need a goal, this is definitely one of the couple of formations that I like to change to in a game. You know, this one, the 4-2-4, a couple of the 3-back formations are really good. So last 15 minutes, if you're desperate for a goal, this custom tactics and these instructions are really, really good. If you want to play this from the start, it is still very effective. I had a lot of good success in the first sort of 5 or 6 games I played with Weekend League. At the moment, we're currently 11-0, and these tactics have played very, very well for me. But they're most effective sort of at the back end of a game if you want to sort of get back into a game. So that is it for the video, guys. So if you do want to see any more instruction videos and formation vids, do drop a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe as well if you do find these tactics useful. If you have any other questions about the video or anything else on your team, make sure you drop it in the comment section as well. But that is all for today, guys. Have an awesome day. I'm out.